And the money in the Quran and the money in the Sunnah is the gold dinar and silver dirham. Money lending on interest is one form of enslavement. لا تأكلوا الربا أضعافا مضاعفة. But there is that other part in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands in the Quran, وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ. If we were to use American English, what the Quran is saying, don't rip off people. Don't rip off people. Don't rip off people. Bakhs, to make little, to diminish. Ashya'ahum, their wealth, their property, their value of things, do not cause it to become diminished and diminish and diminish and diminish. But then something strange happened to the money I was using. And now after 5 to 10 years, I can't buy a camel anymore. I can only buy a donkey now. And then another 10, 15 years later, the same salary, same work, can't buy a donkey anymore. I can only buy a goat. And then I can only buy a chicken. They call it inflation. The Quran is commanding you in this verse, repeated 3 times in the Quran, do not do this. Inflation is legalized theft of the wealth and the sweat of the people. And it has come as an instrument of enslavement.
Maar de vraag is, hoe zet je de volgende stap van sympathieke, kleinschalige initiatieven naar een solidair geldsysteem op grotere schaal? Een systeem dat immuun is voor de virtuele goocheltrucs die ons de crisis gebracht hebben. Wereldwijd wordt op meer dan 1000 plekken met nieuwe munten en geldsystemen geëxperimenteerd. In Jakarta is een geldsysteem in opmars geïnspireerd op islamitische waarden. De dinar van goud en de dirham van zilver. Ze worden gebruikt naast de Indonesische rupiah en zijn waardevast.
Dulu tahun 2000 saya punya rekening di Bank Muamalat. Gunanya untuk dulu saya pikir untuk mempermudah transaksi, karena saya juga menerima pembayaran lewat transfer, cek dan sebagainya. Jadi saya pikir itu memudahkan saya ketika saya diberikan kartu kredit, kartu plastik untuk mengambil di ATM. Saya pikir saya mudah. Ternyata setelah saya sadar bahwa bank ini tidak bermanfaat, akhirnya saya memutuskan berhenti untuk tidak menggunakan rekening dari tahun 2004. Jadi karena apa? Karena dengan adanya saya punya rekening di situ, aset saya hilang secara nilai belinya. Secara nominal tetap, tapi secara daya belinya hilang. Makanya saya putuskan untuk menarik seluruh rekening saya dan saya jadikan dinar dan dirham. Sekitar 20-25%. Maka nilai aset saya tetap bertahan, tapi nilai rupiahnya semakin tinggi. Jadi itulah saya bisa menyelamatkan aset-aset saya. Jadi saya bisa membeli bahan bangunan, pendidikan dan lain-lain dengan tanpa mengurangi nilai aset. Bagaimana kalau saya tetap disimpan uang di bank, maka saya akan kehilangan banyak.
sistem peng-peng sekarang ini?
Saya tidak marah karena itu sudah terorganisasi dengan baik. Tapi kenapa kita serahkan kebebasan kita, pola hidup kita diatur oleh orang lain yang kita tidak inginkan. Jadi itulah makanya dinar dirham ini saya sebutkan sebagai suatu gerakan moral kebebasan individu yang mutlak.
It's hard to get an exact figure at the moment, but in the last 10 years, probably it's more than 50,000 coin has been distributed. There is an equality of exchange, equal to equal. In other words, it can only be met by exchanging commodity with commodity. So if you want to exchange a head of goat, then you need, or you must get as an exchange other commodity that has a similar value, and that can be best served by gold or silver. Paper money doesn't serve that equality, because one party lose an asset, let's say a head of gold, and the other party just get a piece of paper which has no value. When we minted the dinar for the first time 9 years ago, it was only worth 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. These 4 pieces, about 400,000 rupiah. Today, you need 15 pieces of this paper money, 1,500,000 rupiah to get 1 dinar. 1,500 years ago, 1 dinar equals to 2 head of gold. And today, if you go everywhere in the world, you can buy 2 heads of gold with 1 gold dinar, right? While a coin of dirham, the silver coin, you can have 1 head of chicken. Some people see it like a story of this king with no clothes, right? So when everybody see that the king was wearing very beautiful clothes, but in fact he wears no clothes, until a small boy said, look, the king has no clothes. It's the same thing with this paper money, that we are told that this is wealth which has a values on it, until someone says, look, this is just a piece of paper, no value on it. So, right, so if you cut like this, look, 100,000 and it's gone. Where's the 100,000? And magically, if you put a cello type on it, the 100,000 rupiah came back. Only by putting a cello type on it, people will accept it again. It's very magical. It's magic. This one is the real one. The current system is not only unsustainable, but it's collapsing. So we have to be prepared with other system which can be sustainable and more stable. The banking system is crime, and the bankers are the criminal. The current system is taken for granted as the only system available. It is not only unsustainable, it is unjust, and it's collapsing. So we have to find the better alternative. We have it. In Islam, you have to prevent wealth to be circulated among the rich. And what is happening today is that the wealth, the real wealth, which is gold and silver, are only sitting amongst the wealth vault, while the people are getting the worthless paper money. Now what we are doing is reverse the process. we return the paper money to the banking system and take out the gold and circulate it to the hands of the people. Now the people will have the real wealth within their hands.
Dinar ini bukan buah revolusi, tapi ini kembali lagi ke fitrah manusia. Jadi manusia disuruh memilih, jadi tidak dipaksakan. Jadi dia memilih antara yang berlaku dengan yang tidak berlaku, antara yang stabil dengan yang tidak stabil, antara tetap dengan inflasi. Jadi mereka memiliki dua pilihan. Ini adalah untuk sebagai gerakan freedom and justice.